Hey everybody, I'm Marie Bard Curtis of the Quilted Poodle. I'm a Grace Ambassador, educator, and the lead instructor with the Quilted Poodle Academy. Have you ever been away from your quilting for 2-3 weeks, maybe 2 or 3 months, and you want to get back to it? You have a quilt you want to finish quickly, and you can't quite remember the steps and how to do that. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to easily use the lowest tier of the software, QCT6, edge to edge, and get right back in with your quilting with confidence. At the end of this video, I'll make available to you a short outline, which is a step-by-step procedure how to get started with your quilting. I have used my channel locks to stitch a horizontal plumb line. I'm just going to put my quilt up against that plumb line and then stitch it down, and I'm going to pull my bobbin. So I'll needle down, needle up, and then there's my bobbin thread. So I can just pull that up. Here's the bobbin thread, here's my top thread, and I'll hang on to both of them, and then I'll begin stitching. Few locking stitches. All right, pull back, and then I'm going to pull up my bobbin thread. I'm going to needle down in the area where I stopped stitching, needle down, needle up, and there's my triangle, and I will hang on to all of those threads and cut close to my quilt. All right, after you have tacked down your quilt, the next thing to do is to open the software and to begin quilting. So if you have a Grace Company long arm, you will be able to get to the edge-to-edge version of the software. I'm going to tap Try Other Product Tiers, and I'm going to choose QCT6. All right, and my screen has changed to show edge-to-edge. I'll tap there. I've turned off all the tutorials, and I'm just going to tap Next. The next thing we have to do is set our safe area. So top left, I'm going to go past the left side of my quilt and up above the top of my quilt. Then I'm going to go to the bottom right. Again, I will go off the right side of my quilt and pull all the way forward and tap bottom right. We're going to select our design. I'm going to use a pattern called Blast Off. I'll double tap and it opens. So there's my pattern. Tap Next. I'm going to set my design at 7. So I'll just click in here where it has 4, tap there, and I can put in the number 7. I'll say OK. So the height of my pattern has been set to 7. Tap Next. Then I want to determine the spacing between the rows of my design. I want to move these closer together, so I know I need a negative number. I'll tap here, and let's choose 1. And then to make it a minus number, just tap the plus minus there and say OK. So it's moved my pattern a little bit closer together. Tap Next. Now I have to select my quilt top edges, and because I'm at the top of my quilt, I'm going to use the first image. I'm going to tap there for selecting my quilt top edges, and then I'm going to move the machine so that my needle is pointing to the top left edge. So essentially that's the intersection between the left side and the left top. I'll tap my placement node, and then I will just pull my machine forward and tap the next placement node. I'll then move over to the right side and do the same thing. I'm looking for the intersection of the right top and side, and I will mark that and Notice I got a little warning sign, so I'm going to say okay to that. And essentially it's telling me it's up a little too high. So I'll bring it down a little. Now it goes green. So if that ever happens to you, all you need to do is move your machine down a little bit. Now I'm going to pull forward, tap my next gray node, and it will turn green to indicate that the placement has been set. Tap next.
You can see my pattern as it's displayed on the screen.
The software attempts to take out any extra space that's along the top. So now what I want to do is to mark my left placement. So I'm going to move closer to the left, and then I'm going to allow the software to control my machine and move left. So the machine automatically moves to where you need to have that placement. So what I'm going to do is use a placement sticker, and you actually, because the placement is off of your quilt, you don't really have to use a placement sticker, but I'm going to use one because they're purple. So I will just place this underneath my hopping foot. And at that point, I'm going to do a single stitch, and it marks the placement for the left. These are Avery labels that I'm using, so they stick pretty well. So I'm going to go over, I'm going to move my machine towards the right side, and then I'm going to tap move right, and the software will take over and move the machine exactly where it needs to be. And again, I'm going to put a placement sticker underneath my hopping foot. And I have the new Super Glide Foot that Grace came out with. I really like it. I like the way it's curved up the side, but it also has registration marks, a horizontal and vertical, right here where you can see it. And if you need to line something up, it's nice to have those registration marks there. So, and then your foot is clear as opposed to the spoon foot I was using, which was sort of opaque. But this one allows you to see everything you need to, especially if you're doing a repair pattern. So I'm going to touch single stitch. All right, and I have placed my pattern. Now I'm going to tap next. And now what I need to do, I know that the start position is on the left. In edge to edge, the start is always on the left, stitches to the right. You mark, you come back, start stitching on the left and going to the right. So
I'm just going to move my machine over towards the left.
So it doesn't have to move on its own. It's like watching grass grow. I'm going to touch starting stitch, and notice what the screen says. The needle will now move to the start and do a single stitch to let me know where it's going to begin. So I'll tap OK. And my machine is going to move where that green circle is. Green means go. Okay, and it did a single stitch. And that lets me know where the starting point is, but more importantly, it allows me to pull up my bobbin thread. So holding on to my top thread, if I pull away, I can pull up my bobbin thread. So there it is right there. So I will have both my bobbin thread and my top thread in my hand when I begin stitching. So I'm going to tap next. We're now in the quilting interface screen, and this is where we can begin stitching our quilt. Something you want to pay attention to is your settings. And you might want to check that before you start. So you can determine how many stitches per inch you want to have and how many tie-off stitches. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm all right with 10 and 2. I'll say, okay. And then I can tap on sew. But now there's something else in this lower version of the software that you don't have, that they do have in the other versions. It is the ability to trace. So if I wanted to know where my pattern was going to land on my quilt, what I could do is use the repair pattern. So I'll just tap right there and then do a trace forward. And the machine will go through the motions and show you exactly where your pattern is going to be placed without ever stitching. And then when you are satisfied with where your pattern is going to stitch, just hit your back button and you're back at Quilting Interface. And I will hang on to my top thread and my bobbin thread. And I'll tap sew and off we go.
Tap Continue to be guided into pulling your bobbin thread. Tap Single Stitch, then tap Next.
My stitching stops right along the edge of where I've tacked down the quilt, and it goes exactly right up to the top and then stops. So I really like that about the software, that you don't have to worry about where it's going to place your pattern or how it's going to stitch out. All right, so at this point, I've done my single stitch, I've broken my thread, and then I'm going to tap Next.
The machine will move automatically to where you need to mark
for your next row. This is your right side placement. And again, because the stitching is off, or the placement is off your quilt, you can just mark right into your batting, or you can use a sticker. I have colored stickers and I like to change up on my colors, and it just makes me happy. So I'm going to use a sticker. I'll just slide that under my hopping foot and single stitch. And the machine has been released again. So I'm just holding the sticker down, get a chance to push it down. And as you can see, it's pulling up my thread. So if you had not put a sticker down, when you see your threads coming up, you can mark right here in the batting where the threads are coming up. All right, and so I know I've marked the right side. Now I have to go mark the left side. So again, rather than let the machine do all the moving, I'll just come back over somewhere over towards the left side. And the software, with its own internal GPS system, is going to know exactly where it needs to go. I'll tap Next. Now it's going to start to move to the exact spot on the left. I'm going to put another sticker underneath my hopping foot. Okay. And I'll tap single stitch, and it releases the machine again. So I'm going to say Next. Oops, I tapped too many times. All right. When I tap next, it takes me to the screen to place the edge-to-edge design. So what I need to do is to go to the area, whether I've used a sticker or I've marked my quilt, and then I'm going to place my pattern. So I'm on the left side, I'm doing the left placement. I'm going to where the needle hole has been placed in my sticker, and I'm going to tap the gray node, and it places my pattern. Set the right placement to where my next sticker is, and I'll tap the gray node, which will turn green after it's been placed. And then I'll tap on next. Okay. I'm going to hit starting stitch, and the machine is going to move. All right. And that's where my starting stitch is going to be, right here. Say you have a large quilt and you're not going to get it all done today. You want to be able to set up your pattern the same way you did when you first started. So this little button that says info, if you tap that, it's going to tell you what your design was, how tall your design was, and how much spacing you had between each design. It also tells you your safe area. So what you might want to do is take a picture of that or write it down so that when you come back on the next day, you will be able to start up. There is no save in the edge-to-edge version, but you can easily get back to where you started with the same pattern and the same size. All right, so just hit the little arrow and it goes away. And I've done my starting stitch, which is right here. So I know that's where it's going to start. And again, I can just mark right out here in the batting, because that's where it's going to start. And I'm going to tap on next. And I'm going to pull this thread so that it pulls up my bobbin. So I've got both my bobbin and my top. And when I hit sew, the machine will move back over to that starting point and do tie off stitches and begin again. I'm going to tap continue. So I want to pull my bobbin thread, hit single stitch, pick for the next row, just like before. So underneath my hopping foot, I'm going to put a sticker. Single stitch. I'll tap the next button and the software will move the machine where exactly it needs to be to mark the left side placement. I'll put the sticker underneath my hopping foot, single stitch, and tap next. Okay, it's time to move the fabric. All right, I have advanced my fabric, and so I'm going to tap on OK.
I will select the middle icon to place my quilt top edges. Tap here for the top edge of your quilt.
And I'll move forward. And I'm going to set the quilt top edge on the right. And I'll move forward. Tap next. Set the left placement. I'm going to move the needle over the left placement mark hole and tap the gray node. It'll be right there. And then I'll go right. And tap right there. Tap next.
Tap single stitch to pull the bobbin and begin stitching your next row.
And we're at the point where everybody wants to be at the end of our quilt. What I'm going to do is stabilize my quilt top. I'll stitch down the side, across the bottom, and over to the other side. I'll say okay to this. And now we are actually at the bottom of the quilt. So the icon that I will tap looks like the bottom of the quilt. And then I'm going to go up to my placement node.
Begin setting my quilt top edges.
I'm hovering over my sticker. I'm going to tap there. It turns green. And I will travel down to the edge of my quilt, maybe just a hair beyond, and tap that node. Then I'll go over to the right side.
Then I'll move down the right edge of the quilt and tap the node.
Then I'll hit next.
Time to place the pattern. I'll move the machine over the left sticker and tap the gray placement node, which turns green to confirm pattern placement. I'll then move over to the right side to the right sticker and tap the gray placement node, which will also turn green to confirm the right placement.
And next. Machine will move. Pull up my bobbin thread. I'm holding on to my bottom thread and top thread. Go to next.
I am now entering the quilting interface screen where I can tap Sew to begin stitching. At the end of stitching, I'll press continue, then do a single stitch to pull the bobbin thread. Tap next. Your machine will automatically move to the right so that you can mark your right corner placement. Then do a single stitch. Tap next. Your machine automatically moves to the left so you can mark your left corner placement. Single stitch. Tap next. Time to place the pattern. I'll move the machine over the left sticker and tap the gray placement node, which turns green to confirm pattern placement. I'll then move over to the right side to the right sticker and tap the gray placement node, which will also turn green to confirm the right placement. Tap next to position your needle where you can pull your bobbin thread. Tap starting stitch to pull your bobbin thread. Tap next. You're now in the quilting interface screen. Tap sew to stitch out your pattern. A perfect finish at the end of the quilt.
I will hit continue.
I'll pull my bobbin thread and it's on to the next quilt. So if you haven't tried the lowest tier edge to edge, give it a try. I think you'll be very pleased with it. You can determine the exact placement of your outermost stitches on the right and the left edge of your quilt. If you'd like to receive a step-by-step outline of quilting with QCT6 edge to edge, please drop me a text message at 844-5-POODLE. Text your email address and I will return a PDF document to you. Or if you'd like to send an email, send it to info@quiltedpoodle.com and I will email a PDF document to you. If you'd like to be placed on a list to be notified of online courses or on-demand courses that will be available by the Quilted Poodle Academy, please let me know in the text message or the email. Thanks for watching. God bless.